Rey Fenix's contract situation has recently come into the spotlight due to Rey Fenix making many posts about how AEW has mistreated him, and he actually refers to it as inhumane treatment. Now, Fenix hasn't actually been active in AEW since July of this year, and you might remember a few months ago how there was all this talk about how the Lucha Brothers had signed with WWE, it was a done deal. Obviously, that turned out not to be true because both still had time on their current AEW deals. Tony Khan did then add on injury time to Rey Fenix's contract, which there was a whole meltdown over. My opinion on it is it was in the contract. Rey knew it, so he signed it. It's on him. Tony Khan is justified if it's in the contract, you know? Now, Penta, I don't think was injured, so he didn't get injury time. His was just his deal, and now that has expired, and he seems to be heading to WWE. So as I said, Fenix's contract reportedly had additional time added on due to his injuries, meaning that he wouldn't be able to leave AEW until mid-2025. Then there was actually a report that I saw that I made a video on it over on TikTok, which, by the way, go follow me on TikTok. It'll be in the description. But, yeah, there was a report that apparently Tony Khan had no interest and no desire to use Rey Fenix on AEW television. But he also didn't have any intention of releasing him and allowing Rey Fenix to leave. Now, my opinion on this, to be honest, I can see it from both sides because, obviously, as a wrestler, you want to be out there wrestling, you want to be featured, you know? You want to make a name for yourself, right? So if you're not being allowed to do that, why would you want to stick around in that company? But then on the flip side, I understand Tony Khan being like, well, actually, why would I let you go? Because you're about to just jump ship straight away and go to WWE, our main competition, at least in AEW's eyes. So why would I let you do that? Why would I not try and prolong that as long as physically possible? So I'll be honest, I can see it from both sides. I can see it from both sides of the coin, and it seems like a pretty messy situation right now. It seems like a bit of a standoff. And obviously, Rey Fenix now being frustrated, obviously. And look, him coming out on Twitter saying all of his frustrations and saying how AEW didn't find him a doctor when he was injured and that he was being treated inhumanely. I mean, all of this does seem to back up the report that Tony Khan has no intention of using him or letting him go. So obviously, Rey Fenix has expressed his frustrations with his current position on social media. He mentioned that obviously he's unable to speak right now because he is still in a contract, so he could just get in trouble. But to be honest, why would he not just? It'll probably be legal action, but like if he doesn't want to be there, is he not going to try and just force his way out? You know what I mean? There's actually rumors as well that there are heavy issues and serious issues with AEW management and Rey Fenix, which isn't surprising given everything I've just told you. Now, I touched on it earlier, but Rey Fenix, one of his tweets was, I'll try and put it on screen, one of his tweets was that AEW, when he was injured, did not find him a doctor, and I found this quite interesting simply because CM Punk said a similar thing when he got injured with the company, because I remember on Ariel Helwani's interview that he did with CM Punk was talking about it and saying how he had to find his own doctor. AEW didn't take care of any of that. I don't know if it's because it technically didn't happen in the ring, but I feel like personally it was in the building because wasn't CM Punk's I don't remember what his injury was, but wasn't it like he injured himself jumping into the crowd or something? And yeah. My opinion is I think that it should be handled by AEW. I mean, it's your talent. They're the reason your company is making money. But I obviously don't know the ins and outs of it. There probably is a reason behind it. I don't know. But Rey Fenix saying that does kind of make me think, okay, well, Punk said the same thing. So it wouldn't surprise me if it was true. And the interesting part is that Rey Fenix has promised once his contract's up, or at least as soon as he can, that he's going to be talking about this and he's going to speak his truth once he's free. So obviously at the minute he's not being featured on AEW TV, so he's actually out on the indies apparently. Look, I don't watch AEW, I don't keep up with the indies that much. I'll be honest, the only reason I am making this video is because it's linked with WWE and it's quite an interesting story right now, and it's probably one of, if not the biggest one in wrestling right now, I'd say. Just because it's drama. People like drama, you know. But I just find it kind of interesting because, like I said earlier, I can see it from both sides. obviously as a wrestler you want to be, again, wrestling, which it seems like he is doing, so at least he's not just sat at home doing nothing, you know? But you're signed to AEW, you want to be featured in that company, or else you wouldn't have signed the contract. And I don't know, from a business point of view on Tony Khan's part, like, while I said I understand why he won't be using him and whatever, because he doesn't want him going to WWE, even though it's going to happen. I mean, especially if Penta goes there. If Penta goes there, Tony Khan may as well just... There's no point prolonging the inevitable. But I understand that his thought process is probably, okay, well, if I can delay it as long as possible, maybe something will happen where he changes his mind or whatever. You know, however they get to that, maybe that's his thought process. But then from a business point of view, I'm like, well, if you're still paying him, why would you just want that money going to a wrestler you're not even using? That's the only bit that I'm kind of like, well, why would you not just cut your losses, I guess? Because I'd imagine that it was a lot of money. We know Tony Khan likes to throw money at people just to stop them going elsewhere, WWE. And it wouldn't surprise me if Rey Fenix at the time saw the money and said, you know what? Sure. You know? Because, like I said, he inked the contract, man. He signed it. So Tony Khan adding on injury time or whatever, and people are calling him out on Twitter for it and saying, oh, you said you weren't going to be like Vince McMahon. If it's in the contract, it's in the contract. That is a legal, like, agreement, you know, that both parties have to abide by. But overall, it's just a very interesting situation, and obviously, if more comes out, then I might make a follow-up video. But yeah, if more on this story comes out, then I will be sure to make a follow-up video if it's worth. But yeah, let me know what you think of this whole situation in the comments below, and if you did enjoy this video, hit that like button for me and hit that subscribe button.